Hi quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert. Today I want to show you how to make this yummy Go Raspberry Swirl wall hanging using our Go Snail's Trail 8-inch finished block on board die. I've got Erica in the Dream Studio with me today and she's going to give me a hand.
I love this wall hanging that Pam made, and it's a great project for any quilter because I think it looks really complicated, but it's just one block and it's really going to go together really well for you. This block on board die is on a 10 by 10 die board, and that means it's going to work in either a Go or a Go Big Electric, or you could use it in a studio cutter with the appropriate adapter.
Yep. And this die is a great way to use those 10 by 10 pre-cut layer cakes to give this quilt a scrappy look, or you can use two colors like I did with this one. There are so many options here. Now quilters, this pattern is available to download at AccuQuilt.com, so you might want to stop this video so you can get to the pattern and follow along as we go.
Now Pam, you said you did a test block before you started your wall hanging. Do you think that's a good idea?
Always. You know, I think it's such a great idea to make a test block. That way you can make sure you know how to cut it, sew it together, make sure you know how to press the fabric. It's just such a great way to make sure that you're not wasting fabric.
We don't want to do that.
No.
Well, I'm anxious to get going and see how this comes together. Should we get started?
Let's do.
Okay.
All right, so quilters, remember I mentioned earlier this die would work really well with layer cakes, but if you're using yardage, you'll just need to subcut the fabric according to the directions in the pattern. Now, none of these shapes are directional, so you can fan fold the fabric back and forth. Now, here's a little tip for you when you're making this project with two fabrics like we are today. I found it worked really well to fan fold 3 layers of fabric of each color on the die board. Then I would cut and sew 3 blocks at a time. It really helped me keep my pieces organized, and it's a great way to chain piece. Okay, so do you want to go ahead and cut this one for me?
I will do that. 10 by 10 mat. Okay, so let's get this cut. I love these colors you picked for this.
Doesn't it look like raspberry lemonade?
It does.
I know, just perfect.
Okay, so Pam would say to give it a little love.
Yes.
Get rid of that static. We're gonna slide, don't lift.
Ta-da, good job, Erica.
Oh. It's like I've been watching Pam's videos or something.
Something.
Okay.
All right, so Erica's just gonna really carefully peel back that excess fabric, and then you're just gonna see how perfect those shapes were on the die board. All right, so now we are ready to start chain piecing, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, Erica, is look at this. We've screen printed the letters on here for you.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. So the first thing we're gonna do is take shape A, and I'm just gonna sew together a little 4 patch. And then we're gonna press to the dark side, okay? So you're my presser today, yes. So I'm gonna put my right sides together.
All right.
That's kind of a tip, quilters, if you're gonna sew those pieces together, you can cut them together. These are tiny little squares.
They are.
Imagine trying to cut those with a rotary cutter.
I would not do that.
No. Okay.
Perfect.
Great. Now I'm going to come here and snip these for you. So Erica, if you would just press to the dark side, that would be great. Just think of all the fun colors. You could use like Halloween colors or Christmas colors. You could make it look like kind of that Storm at Sea block that you made where it's those pretty batiks.
I think there's a lot of possibilities for this, but I love that it's not even that many blocks that you have to put together for this wall hanging.
It's not.
I'll hold the iron over here so I don't burn you.
Okay, so look, we're gonna make a 4 patch for the center. All right, so now I'm gonna put right sides together. And since we press the seam to the dark side, those pieces are gonna nest. So then, Erica, I'm gonna sew it, and you can press our seams open.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
All right. So now we're going to start building out from the center, right?
Yep, the fun really starts.
All right.
We're going to start with that center square, and I'm going to show you how to turn the block counterclockwise and then add the pieces.
Perfect. Okay, we're ready to roll.
All right, so now we need shape B. So can you pull this off, shape B?
Shape B.
They are.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is kind of the cool part. You want to make sure, quilters, that you lay out your blocks, because the yellow needs to go to the yellow, and the yellow needs to go to the yellow. Yep, and then the raspberry needs to go to the raspberry, and so forth, just like this. Ta-da. So I'm going to sew the yellow pieces, and then I'm going to have Erica press them away, and then we'll sew the raspberry pieces. So see how easy this is if you were just chain piecing.
But I can see why it would be helpful just to do a couple blocks at once so you didn't get your pieces confused too.
Yeah.
And I think it works really well to actually leave them on your die board because you've got those screen printed letters right there and you can keep track of them.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to sew my other half of my yellow. And I typically, Erica, what do you do? I don't typically clip my strings until the end.
Yeah, not usually.
Yeah, so now Erica's going to press those seams away, and that's how we will continue to press them.
Okay, so all the way to the end now
All
we're
the way
going to
to
be
the
pressing
end.
out.
Yep, because we have that 1/4 inch seam allowance built in. Ta-da.
Okay.
All
So
right.
now you're ready to put the raspberry on either side.
Right.
Okay, this thread is going to bug me.
Okay, go for it. Now we have this die in the Go Big version, but this one is perfect because it just makes an 8-inch block.
Well, you know, we had a lot of people asking us to make the snail's trail in a die that would fit through a Go machine.
We did.
So we listened, we paid attention. And I love this block. I think it's really cute as an 8-inch block.
Okay, so she's going to do the exact same thing now and press that seam away from the center block.
Okay. And now we're going to build out again. So,
So we're going to turn it counterclockwise,
Okay.
right?
and now we're going to take
Our
s-
yellow.
our C pieces. So now your yellow is going to go here.
Correct.
Okay. And then that would make this pink, yellow, and raspberry.
See?
Okay, so you can start to see once you get to this third round to the shape C pieces, I feel like you really start to see that design emerge.
Yes.
It was very clever of you to match your shirt to the quilt so well.
I tried really hard. Right, and then I'm just going to do the other side. Okay, and we've cut off those dog ears there. So look how fast, quilters, this block is going together. Okay.
Okay, it's press time.
Listen, you and I, we should like sew and press together.
We should. I think having a designated presser works really well here.
Now we only need 12 blocks, so you could actually cut 3 blocks at a time. So it would only need to go 4 times through the cutter.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and now I'm going to sew.
Definitely a quick weekend project if you wanted it to be.
Oh yeah. All right, and now we're going to add the other side. And those dog ears just allow you to cut and line up those pieces
I
perfectly.
was just going to say that. It's really slick.
Okay.
Right. press.
And the great thing, Erica, is you can see how these points are all coming together. So those points look so pretty.
So again, we're going to turn. Okay, so now, again, we've got the yellow. And at this point, you can start to see where you're going, I think.
You can. Yep.
Okay.
And one of the tips that I found really helpful was I always started with yellow.
Oh, okay.
Or so whatever, if you're just doing two colors, just always start with yellow or, you know, whatever one of the colors is. And then that way, you just know you're always starting on the right foot.
Sure. That makes sense. Now this is going to, you said that's 12 blocks. So we've got 3 across and 4 down. We're going to come up then at 24 by 32. And so it's a great size. You know, this would fit just perfectly on the quilt rack that I have hanging in my kitchen.
Oh, it would.
It would. So if by chance your quilt here is looking for a home,
It could come live with you.
it could. I would let it.
So Snail's Trail is such a classic pattern. It's been around forever. And I feel like quilters, you know, were a little nervous about doing it because you had to cut all the pieces, right?
I don't think I would do this otherwise. If I didn't have a die for it, I don't think I'd cut it myself. Okay, there's your piece for that.
We're just going to keep building it out.
Yeah. We're almost done.
We are. Oh, look, are we down to our last piece?
Yeah, we're down to our last piece.
Oh, awesome. Now, Erica, you are the pinner of the two of us. Would you
Yes.
have pinned this or not?
You know, I don't think I would. It's gone together so well, and those dog ears really help show you exactly where you need to go with those pieces. I don't think even I would pin this.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I might pin it. I probably would pin it when I was putting my rows together.
Oh yeah, I for sure did that. I for sure did that. Okay, so again, we're gonna turn it clockwise, right? So now this is where we gotta make sure we do it right the way. And always start with yellow.
Always start with yellow. Perfect.
And look at this. All right, so I'm gonna sew these last half square triangles on. See how perfect that went together?
It really did. Perfect.
And I'm gonna add the other one.
Okay.
So Erica, if you were making this block, you made that pretty test block over there.
I did.
What other colors would you use?
Well, you know, the only other Snail's Trail that I did all in blues and greens, so it really had that kind of wave feel. I made it for a friend who does diving.
Oh, very cool.
But I think that it would really work in almost anything. And I love the idea of doing it scrappy. I think when I do one, I think I want to try doing it really scrappy. Maybe with one constant and then with the other all different colors.
Oh, sure.
I think that you could do get a lot of different looks with this.
This is one of those blocks that you just your imagination is just going to go wild. Okay, all right, we have 2 more pieces to add and then we are done. Thank you. Make sure I get my 1/4 seam there. Right, and then I'm going to do my last one here.
Perfect. This really would go together quickly.
When I was making the wall hanging, it went together so fast because you just need 12 little blocks.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. Now quilters, once you have all your 12 blocks made, you're going to sew the blocks together in rows. Put 3 rows together and you'll be ready to quilt in no time.
Great. Quilters, I think you're really going to enjoy making this project. It's going to go together really well for you, and there's so many possibilities. It's a great block on board die. Now, if you're looking to get this die, you can get it at your local retailer or at AccuQuilt.com.
Excellent. Hey, thanks for joining me in the Dream Studio today. We had so much fun with this new bob die. Quilters, remember, at AccuQuilt we help you cut time so you can quilt more.